Let's talk about the other Ducatis, the Gin Antonio. I mean, Morbidelli, Fermin Aldeguer, Alex Marquez. What are your thoughts on what they're doing? They look pretty good in the sprint. Second, third, fourth. For those guys, do you think that VR46 Academy is gonna, they got the inconsistency mostly, I think, because of Morbidelli and stuff like that, just making bad mistakes. We talked about it last week. They must have listened to the show and came out and said, "Yo, it's over. Don't do this. Don't do anything else, man, because you might not be here next year." But your thoughts, Reese, on how they look?
I mean, they look good. I mean, Morbidelli looked a lot solid. I mean, he didn't cause any mistakes or running into the back of anybody and getting grid penalty or getting caught up to the steward office, getting called to the principal's office. Say, hey, you need to come in here and talk to me. So, I mean, it was kind of nice. But the only thing about what I say with Morbidelli, he's very, very, very inconsistent. It's like one day he's hot, one day he's not. And it's like back and forth. It's like almost like Vinales was. It's like, man, come on, just stay consistent. With Fabio and Aldeguer, I mean, Aldeguer is still, as a rookie, he's still showing some pace and some brilliancy. So, I mean, I look forward to see what he can do in the future. Fabio, I mean, I'm looking forward to see if he can actually pick it up because, he had a lot of times where he was hurt or he wasn't on the right bike. So, I mean, but now he's on the VR46. He has 25 GP. So, I look forward to see what he can do. Alex, I mean, he's doing what Alex does, just like another Marquez. I mean, he was solid in the race, solid in the sprint. So, I mean, he's the next in command as Marquez in the Marquez family.
When he's behind Mark, do you think he should just push a little bit harder?
I would say yes, but that's like, what they say, don't poke a sleeping bear. Let that bear lie or leave him alone. Like, you start poking Mark, he's just going to turn up and now you're going to crash. He's going to another level and you can't go to that level. You can't go to that upper room yet. You're not there yet.
And from what I hear, they do live together, right? So
you can't go to that room yet. Nah, that's beyond your limit. Leave that room alone. So I don't know. I don't think I would push Mark, man. I think I would kind of leave him alone.
I hear that. It sounds like it. It sounds like a Michael Jordan thing. Don't look at him. Don't say nothing to him. Just keep going.
Lewis, sleeping bear, dude.
No doubt. Lewis, what are your thoughts? I mean, you talk about Morbidelli and his inconsistency. I mean, Valentino Rossi has to be yelling at him. He has to be saying something. It's like, yo, you're my boy, but come on, man. Like, we got to do something. I mean, it shouldn't have gotten to the point where it had to be the stewards have to talk to him versus, Rossi.
Yeah, I mean, it's six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. He's inconsistent, but when he's consistent, he's always in the top five.
Yeah.
So it's like, who else can say that they're always in the top five? All he needs to find is that one missing piece where he just settles down and rides. And, I hate to say tones down his aggression because you need aggression in this sport. But his aggression is the one thing that always gets the best of him. He doesn't like to get passed. And when he gets passed, he likes to fight back right away, which is the way you're kind of taught. If you get passed, by the next corner, you want to try to already get by him. But he tries to get by him even though he can't get by them. He tries to squeeze a bike into a space the size that a credit card can barely fit in. And that's where he gets into these problems where he hits people. He crashes himself out. He crashes other people out. It's just dumb mistakes, man. And if he can get past that, I mean, the dude would be a perennial top five guy. Every race, I think every single race, he would finish in the top five. He's got the talent. He's got the package. He just needs to take that deep breath when somebody passes him and be like, all right, let me set him up for a pass. Not, banzai, kamikaze on people. It can't be, win it or bin it. It's win it or accept the fact that you're going to be in fifth place. Make what you can do what you can, try your best to get that space back. But if that guy passed you, chances are that you're the one that's lagging. As far as the rest of the riders, I mean, the Gian Antonio, again, he does really great in the sprints because they're short races. But over a long distance race, he can't seem to put it together lap after lap, or he only comes on at the very end. But he comes on at the very end when he's 17 seconds behind the lead. So I made up 5 spots on, in the last 6 laps. So I finished 8th instead of 13th. Like, come on, man. Like, it's the both riders have this weird inconsistency. And, I don't know how you train it out of them. I don't know, but again, these are mental things that you really can't train. You've already trained. You know how to ride a bike. You know how to go fast. You know how to take quarters. You know how to hit now you just need to work on your mental game.
Right.
And then the other one is Aldeguer. Aldeguer is definitely going to win Rookie of the Year. Nobody's got anything to be, close to him.
No, yeah.
Aldeguer is actually hoping for a reverse sprint race where the bikes start with the tires already half used and half the fuel, and my man will probably win the race because when he starts with fresh tires, he lags, and then we get to the halfway point when the tires drop. All of a sudden, my man starts going fast.
Right.
It's like, yo, where are you for the? I think that they set up his bike so much to work good on used tires and low fuel that it actually makes it hard for him to ride the bike on new tires with a full fuel load. And they need to find that perfect balance, man.
He's like, I want the Marquez setup.
Yeah, I want the Marquez setup. When the bike's supposed to be shit, that's when I want to go fast. But when the bike's supposed to be fast, I want it to be unrideable. And the kid is talented. I hope that Grassini can keep him. I don't see him staying on the satellite team for very long. I definitely see within, the last year's deal. He's either going to end up on a factory Ducati bike, or whether he's on the Grassini team or not, he'll be on a factory bike, or he'll move to another factory. Whether it's Yamaha or whether it's Honda, this kid is too talented to stay where he's at. I honestly believe at this point right now, even though he's not in the greatest package, I think he's actually doing better than Acosta did with KTM on a consistent basis. And now you have Acosta on a factory bike, and obviously they're not paying the bills because they losing chains and things are falling off and bikes aren't
Right. Yeah. We say satellite teams, but they are factory bikes. It's just a year old. It's not the same like satellite, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, where the parts had different serial numbers on them.
Are they really getting the parts?
A year-old bike, you might be getting year-old parts too,
Yeah, on a Ducati, that's not bad, right? Because the 24 bike seems to be a little bit better than the 25, as we see with Alex and how well Alex is doing, right? Because we didn't think Alex was going to do as well as he's doing coming from a 23 to a 24, but we see that jump that he got this year on the bike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he definitely is putting forward the most consistent push. So if you look at him, the Gian Antonio, Morbidelli, and Aldeguer, of the guys not on factory bikes, he is the guy that's the most consistent. But again, a lot of that I think is also his mental game is at the strongest of anybody that's in the top, 4 Ducatis that aren't factory bikes. I think mentally he's the strongest guy. On any given day, I think Morbidelli and the Gian Antonio are as fast, if not faster, than Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Alex just has the mental game or the mental part of it down right. Like he's going into every weekend with the right attitude. He's going there every weekend, relaxed, but knowing that he definitely has an opportunity to win. And if you don't go into every weekend thinking you can win, you already lost. Like you got to go into every weekend like, yeah, I know my brother's the fastest guy that's on a motorcycle right now, but I can beat him. I know I can beat him. On any given Sunday, I could beat him. And that's what you need. You need that, I don't care what he's riding. I know I could beat him. Talent-wise, he's not more talented than me. Equipment-wise, we're on very similar equipment. So it's really going to come down to who's going to out-talent the other rider this weekend. And he's done it twice, man. He's beat his brother twice. So
yeah. No doubt there. Let's talk about KTM. You brought it up a little bit. They were praising them a week ago. Now it's just kind of like I think I don't want to throw too much shade on the engineers, but did they party too much last weekend and didn't quite catch up? Should somebody get fired? for what happened? Is it just, I mean, riders crash and the bike's in good shape and the riders still have their job. So I guess getting fired is out of the question. But, at this level, having, and we know chains pop. We've seen it happen to Maverick and these other guys and stuff like that. But to have two different bikes on the same weekend with the same issue, it does cut into their stock just a little bit. What are your thoughts, TJ?
Shit.
Yeah, it's like they say, it's all good just a week ago. I think for what KTM's been through, and then for last round, for them to get so much glory for what they were doing with like three of their bikes riding together and competing and just getting a lot of shine and actually finishing well. I think they just got too much glory. I don't know. Somebody did something wrong. Somebody's sabotaging or something, but it's just kind of far fetched to see like two. I can see if a chain of different manufacturers pop and like, oh, it's a weird weekend, but two of their bikes to happen in the same weekend. Somebody didn't tighten something right, or they used something wrong. But yeah,
Reese,
not only that, but they didn't finish well. Maverick didn't finish well. Brad Bender. So they had a horrible weekend, very horrible weekend compared to last week. So
right. Reese, what are your thoughts? You're in the paddock. What are your thoughts, on Acosta giving the bike the finger after that and stuff like that? Looked like he almost wanted to kick the daggone thing too. Is that a bad look from the team to him when he does something like that? Oh, to the team from him, I should say. Or it's just
yes.
Heat of the moment.
It could be the heat of the moment, but it still looks bad. I mean, it's like something. It's you're popping chains. I know riders crash and things happen, and but it's like normally like us, you look over the whole entire bike. You especially whatever side that it went down on. You're taking a look at everything. If you got to replace something, replace it. Certain many miles, chain gets replaced. I don't know what the heck happened, but it's like two bikes popping chains, and it's like, did you not tighten your master link? Like, I'm confused. Like, something just doesn't seem right for two chains to pop, on two different bikes. That just doesn't make any sense at that level.
Right. Is there an investigation going on, or just a normal investigation that you do? Do you get the whole everybody together and talk about, trying to be stronger, better? I don't know how you fix something as I don't want to say simple as this, because engine blowing up, other things happening. There's so many other bigger things to worry about. Is it something that is such a small thing that sometimes you might overlook it?
No, you ain't gonna overlook that, because everybody normally. You're going step by step. You got a front guy, you got a rear guy. Everybody's looking at certain things, and it's, I'm gonna look over your work, you're gonna look over my work. It's always like 2 to 3 eyes sets on it, like going back over it just to double check it. And no, it just doesn't make any sense. Somebody's gonna get, I don't know if somebody's gonna get fired, I would not say, but somebody's gonna get less of a paycheck. It's gonna be a deduction somewhere. Like, yeah, you gotta get a deduction for this one, because it doesn't make any sense for two chains. Like you said, I can see if it was one, and all these guys are like space engine. They're high class engineers. They're making stuff out of everything. So you can't tell me you didn't check this chain out. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong here. Somebody missed something.
All right, Mr. Numbers Guy, what do you got on KTM? And you're in the back office, and you just got this money in and everything. You're sitting here ready to order your yacht and all this stuff, and now this happened. Like, do you spill your coffee? What happened? Gotta take the mute off.
You gotta take the mute off.
If I'm working at KTM, I'm not ordering a yacht because I'm broke.
Well, you can order a yacht. You just might rent it.
I sold all my stock before it went in the toilet. No, I turn around and be like, look, I know we're cutting corners, but let's stop buying chains off Temu because they don't work. Let's go back to buying good chains and good master links.
He bought it off of eBay.
Because buying them on Temu is not working out for us, guys. Come on, let's work as a team here. I don't know who gets fired, man. I mean, that's definitely something that as a team you have to find the cause of that error, because you can't have that error. You know, at this level, you can't have that error. This is you can blow motors, you can have other issues. And we spoke before the show, you know, all bikes have a schedule. And the schedule is how many miles or kilometers before we do this, and this. And, you know, a lot of these bikes, the chains will run for a certain amount of miles, but the chains will get checked in between every session. They'll rotate the tire. They'll make sure there's not any bent or damaged links. Like, this is what Reese was talking about. Everybody checks everybody's work. So for two bikes to have the same issue in the same weekend, and I'm positive there's more than one set of eyes that looked over that chain, you know, what's the issue here, man? Is it a manufacturing issue from the chain supplier? Or, you know, were they using the same maybe chain rivet tool that wasn't working properly, so it looks like it riveted correctly? I don't know, man. There's so many things. People overlook a chain and it has, you know, one master link and one rivet and that's it. Yeah, it is. But, you know, there's a lot of nuances to making sure that the chain is right, making sure the rivet is tight, making sure this is worked, that there aren't any kinks when you put a rivet, making sure the chain flows properly, making sure the sprockets are right, making sure there's not damage to the sprocket that could damage the chain. Like, but this is why you have a team of guys. This is why you have more than just one mechanic. And for this to happen, I mean, this is probably KTM's worst looking weekend. Not just the way they performed on the track, but just look wise. You know, this is the kind of thing that makes a team look amateur.
Right.
And this is a very, very amateur looking moment for them. You know, not only did they have only one rider finish and 3 riders DNF, you know, you had 2 riders in the same weekend lose a chain. You had 1 rider that was in a position to possibly get on a podium to lose a chain. You know, as far as Acosta, again, this is a emotion sport. So the emotions will get the best of you and you will get pissed off and, you know, whatever. But when the temperature cools down in the room, like, my man, that bike might have failed you, but that bike is also paying your check. And the company behind that bike is paying your salary. And you have to understand that if you flip off their bike, like, that's not a good look. That's the kind of thing that damages relationships, because that image now lives forever on our internet. You know, if I want to make a meme about KTM sucks, I'll literally pull up the picture of their own rider in a KTM Red Bull suit giving the bike the finger. Like, this shit writes itself, man. You don't even need the rider for the show. Like, it writes itself. The memes create themselves.
So who has to apologize?
I think the team should apologize to him, and then in return, Pedro Acosta should apologize to KTM. I let the moment get a hold of me. You know, I was in 4th place. I was trying to race to get into the podium position, and, you know, in the heat of the moment, I did that. But, you know, I absolutely respect the team. I absolutely respect the brand. I know you guys work just as hard as I work. We win and lose as a team. You know, but I'm out there, I'm putting my life on the line. And for something like that to happen, obviously my emotions got the better of me. I apologize. That's that professional way to do it.
Well, right. You know, the last time, you know, something not necessarily chain happening, but unhappy rider, you know, that rider ended up going to Aprilia next year. You think it's, you know, other teams were calling up Pedro like, hey, man, come this way?
No, I mean, what is there? There's a what on one ride left open or 2 rides left?
2027. You know,
I mean, again, he's a talented rider. If he's finishing strong enough and he's doing well enough on the KTM a year from now, there's going to be team knocking on his door. You know, certain level of talent, people will follow you. People will want to work with you. But, you know, you have to have just that right balance of talent and being an asshole. And if the assholeness outweighs the talent, eventually nobody's going to want to work with you. Eventually you're going to move from team to team to team to team. And then you're going to find out there's no teams left after this team. And no team wants you because all the teams that worked with you before have pretty much blackballed you. You know, this is the Vinales effect. Where does Vinales go after KTM? Nowhere. Yamaha's not going to want him back.
He bought a bunch of stock, man. He's good.
His only chance after this, I think, is he goes to Honda. I think Honda's the only team that hasn't fired him.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of Honda, let's jump right into it. I don't. I mean, I think it does on paper. It might not look like they had a good weekend, but I felt like Honda had a good weekend. What do you guys thoughts? We'll start with TJ.
Uh, I mean, Mayor went down, so like that's a given every weekend. So, but overall, let's see. Luca Marini finished seventh. I feel like he's been doing a lot better. Second half of the season, he's finally found himself. So yeah, I think Honda's definitely improving slowly but surely. There's just a lot of still unfortunate situations like with Mir, and then sometimes Zarco giving his all going down. But I think going into next year, they'll have a higher expectation to where to be. Try to be better than Aprilia or Yamaha for sure. But I think they had overall good weekend.
Yeah, I think if Mir didn't crash out, he would have had a good weekend. What are your thoughts, Reese, on where Honda is? Marini qualified sixth, only dropped one position in both races. So that's. I mean, obviously, it's always best to go forward, but at least he didn't have a Bagnaia. What are your thoughts?
No, I definitely say Honda had a good weekend. I mean, like I said, Mir crashing out. I mean, that's nothing really new. I mean, that's that's like a give and take. That's like Pekka being, back where he's at. But no, I mean, Luca Marini has really shown some talent on that bike. He's really pushed it up there to the forefront. Zarco is Zarco. And he's, unfortunately he crashed, but I think once next year comes, he gets a factory bike. I think he'll be up there in the top five. Um, so I think they're actually doing very well. They've actually figured out that bike. They're actually pushing forward. They're showing a lot more promising than my boys Yamaha, and I just feel as though they're going to come next year ready to play versus the boys in blue. I think they're going to come ready to play.
All right, we're gonna move on to that in a little bit. But what are your thoughts, Lewis, on Honda? What Luca is doing? Really good job. And Zarco, yeah, it's tough, but it sounds like from what Zarco, of what I've seen on social media and stuff like that, seems like he's not getting the same parts, which is kind of weird. He's the only one that's won a race this year, and you think that just on GP they should just give him the same parts.
You would think so, but if it's not in your contract and it's not something they have to do, it's not something they will do. It's a business. It's show business, not show friends. So you get what you contractually are obligated to get. You can ask for extra, but if they don't want to give it to you, you can't really complain.
Right.
For me, I think everybody at all the riders at Honda need to go crash at Suzuka and come back as good as Marini, because Marini, ever since his crash in Suzuka, is a whole new rider. Like he's riding on a different level. He's now, I think this is his fifth top 10 finish in a row.
Yeah,
which is amazing. Considering Rins is technically the number one rider at Honda, and he's either in the crash truck or maybe in the top 10.
Mir, you mean?
I mean, me. But yeah, Rins is always in the crash truck. Sorry about that. But yeah, Marini is doing great, man. This is, like I said, 5 top 10s in a row almost for him, which is amazing considering where he came from. A lot of people are saying the injury might have cost him the second half of the season, and he actually came back stronger. Whatever he did during that break, all the Honda riders need to go do that. Do that same thing that he did during his break and then come back and ride again, because either he got rejuvenated, he was in the Lazarus pits, the DC Comics thing, got a new life. But it's great to see Honda up there. And I said this in the last show or a couple of shows again, going into next year, I really believe Honda is in a better position than Yamaha, because more of their riders are finishing consistently closer to the top. And today they had their first big test on the V4, and the feedback that has been getting posted online hasn't been very positive. Like, Quadraro posted something like it's actually a step back from the inline 4, which is which is difficult to believe. But Quartararo is the fastest guy in an inline 4, and if he says that it's a step back from the inline 4, I mean, maybe that's just him motivating Yamaha to develop the motor more and to get it to where he wants it. But I believe he was about a second and a quarter slower than his fastest time on the inline 4.
Was he wearing his pearl necklace?
No, he wasn't. So that might also account for the extra half second faster. Pearls make you fly, man. Pearls make you fly.
But
Make something happen.